All right, I want to go through some trade review real quick for a scalping session I had a few days ago on the 2nd of April. I took 10 trades, and we're going to go through each of them and kind of talk about the setup, why I took the trade, where we exited, what our trade definitions were, etc. Um, like I said, it's 10 trades, so it might take a while. All I've done is kind of identify the locations and time on the chart, but I haven't really looked at the setup, so we'll look through the setups together and kind of discuss it. Hopefully, it won't take too long, but 10 trades might take a little while. All trades were taken on this coin spell token. Never heard of this coin. Somebody posted about it on Twitter, like in the afternoon, I guess here, and I decided to check it out, and I ended up trading it a bunch because I guess I had some good volatility. This is the chart before the session. I don't really know what's going on. I mean, this is a 1 minute chart. I think all trades were basically taken on the 1 minute chart. Some might have had some sort of confluences with higher time frames, 3, 5, up to 15-minute time frame, but none were held. Like the longest trade I think we held was 14 minutes, I want to say. Yeah. So very, very small time frame, and you know how it is with trading view and trying to switch through multiple time frames, so I'm not really going to do that. But yeah, I'm going to go through each trade. We're going to talk about where I entered, my stop loss, my take profit, and as well as the size. So this was just a little scalping account. The sizing was using 5x leverage. Equivalent of one lot size. So, for example, if the account size was $1,000, the normal lot size would be 5K. So if I say it's a half size, that would be a $2,500 trade. 1 half size would be a $7,500 trade relative to the account size of $1,000. That's not necessarily the size of the account. I'm just letting you know because this is just kind of good details to have as well, especially as we get later into the evening. I think trade fatigue definitely is starting to affect me. I wasn't watching the chart like a hawk throughout the entirety of the session, but I was keeping tabs on it, and we were taking trades pretty frequently, pretty regularly. So let's start with the first one. We had this really strong spike, had this kind of like double bottom here, bull flag that kind of pushed us up here, kind of got this double top, and then a little bit of a dump here. So I think I'm going to guess that I probably hear about the token somewhere in this region. And I think this is often how I start trading sessions, scalping sessions with random coins, is I just am really eager to get into a trade, so I just take whatever the F trade I can see. So I think here we had a pretty strong defined trend line going down, and then we kind of had this spike up here that got rejected here and dumped to the low. So as we can see, kind of a possible sideways trading range setting up, but I decided to short the low here anyway. Um, I think my stop was to be like we had this little. Let me zoom in even further. So we had this little consolidation region here, kind of near the low that broke out here. So I decided to take the short here at 449,725 is where we take the short, and with our stop just above here at 49,850, it dumps a little bit more, and then it kind of spikes up through, and we actually end up getting slipped all the way to 5. So this was pretty bad trade. I mean, there's no really defined take profit level, maybe somewhere, some sort of confluence like around here, which looks like a decent setup, 3R setup, but we end up losing this one. So first one, chalk it up to a loss, and then we get a bounce from here. My next trade is here at 533. Basically, we have a really strong spike, another strong spike, and then tries to reject, but punches up to the ceiling again with really, really strong buying pressure. Great follow through here, and then we have this small inside bar, and then this other small, yet another kind of inside bar. Yes, this is an inside bar. So this is an II setup. As you're gonna see that a lot of our setups on these charts are based on small inside bars, because a lot of the big bars have violent swings. 1%, sometimes up to like couple percent. This is 1.8%. So A lot of our setups were based on, we'll see a nice big swing, looking for some follow through, but we get small inside bars that we can trade, um, that we can take a trade on. So, oh, by the way, this first trade, this was a half size trade. Um, so I think that's another thing that I like to do, thankfully, because I know that, I'm new to the market. I'm just taking whatever trade like puts itself in my face. It's almost a little bit of a gamble. So thankfully, at least I try to size down during those trades. So this was a half size trade. And then because I lost this one, I think, a little bit of the nerves, not having that confidence yet in this market. We also did a half size trade on this one. So this time we longed 51.8, kind of on this breakout above this inside bar here, and stop loss underneath this bar at like 515.50. I kind of do this instrument does ticks of um, 25. I know it's really hard to understand, but like 51625, 51650, 51675. So I would try to put my stop 2 ticks below the low, so that if it goes to 51575, it doesn't run my stop, because that kind of thing will happen a lot. Where they'll do a 1 tick run, but not the 2 tick run. So I'd put my stop for the most part 2 ticks below. So my stop loss here is at 5155. And the profit I end up taking is at around 5. So the first take profit we take is here at 52.05. Just as we start breaking away a little bit. Then that was half profit that we took. Then we took 1/3 of the profit at 52.225. And then we end up taking the remaining 1/6 of the profit all the way up here at 52.5 on this candle. So somewhere average around, I don't know, around here somewhere. As you can see, barely a 2R trade. So again, not the best trade, but we just get into it just because, we're wanting to make some money, and we see a decent setup of the II. Sometimes you just take those setups. Like, we look at this and it's kind of looking like not really too well defined. But I mean, when you're scalping on the 1 minute chart, you don't really have time to like do all this super well definition of the setup. You just take the trade, and then if you don't have a well defined setup like we didn't here, you take half off at the earliest convenient opportunity, which we got above the 5200 region, so I just took half the profit off the table, and then let the rest ride a little bit and take some more profit a little bit higher. So this was a good trade. This we end up winning. Like I said, not the best trade definition before entering, but sometimes you don't really get that opportunity. You just got to go with what the market gives you. So that's our first win of the day. Next trade is at 22.39. That is all the way over here. 22.39. Yes. Okay. So have a lot of just kind of like, let's zoom out a little bit. We're kind of defining this sort of sideways trading range here now, right? And then we have a breakout above this trading range. Excuse me, and that's where we decide to start looking for a trade. A lot of great strength here, great follow through here, and then again, exact same type of situation. We want to get into a trade. We have some sideways consolidation here. This is kind of like an inside bar that then breaks to the downside, but gets bought up. A little bit of buying pressure here, rejected, and gets rejected again at the top. Tries to put in another attempt down and gets swallowed up. So now we have two clear, like these two red bars, two clear legs down in an attempted sideways trading range that follows intense bullish momentum, right? Not just this intense bullish momentum, we have this too, but this is like really, really extreme bullish momentum. Like as you can see here, we have, this is kind of like a bit of a wider channel. This one here is just a very, very, very compact and aggressive buying channel. So we entered above this outside bar. This is the outside bar. Technically the low isn't lower, but what the FF, you know how it is. This is an outside bar. We enter just above the outside bar. We put the stop just below the outside bar. So here we end up longing 53.450. By the way, I want to say that I did not have any hard stops. I think I manually stopped every trade that we took. I had a hard manual stop. For the most part, I would try and put in take profit levels at my earliest convenience, because this instrument really likes to run pretty aggressively. And, like we'll take out, like, for example, here, we'll take all this high and then run it all the way back, 0.5% to the close. So, you know, if you could put your take profit up here and get it hit before it comes back down, that's kind of an ideal situation. So I would try and put in my take profit levels pretty much as soon as I could, as soon as I was able to define the levels. Here, it doesn't look like I really have any levels above to the upside. Maybe something like this, like with this level here, that kind of got respected a few times. Maybe something like that would be a potential target, but we're pretty far removed from that here. It's just that that's our last swing high, so that's kind of an area that we can kind of look for profit taking on. But yeah, this is really just a great momentum play. This is a pretty great setup. We just get a really well-defined stop loss here, and it just makes a lot of sense to just kind of go through. This is one that we could have held for a lot longer as well, but with just keeping the stop loss here. But like I said, we're scalping 1 minute chart, not the 5 or the 15. So most of these trades are going to be pretty short. If I remember correctly, 7 of the 10 trades complete within 5 minutes, and I think most of them are like 3 minutes or 2 minutes. So this one, we end up taking the trade here. We have our first take profit at 53.9. We take 1/3 profit at this level, and then the remaining 2/3 profit we take at 54,250 here. So probably overall something like this. It ends up being a little bit over one, maybe about 1.5 R. So pretty good. This is a pretty good one. I mean, this is a great momentum play. Like when you see this type of situation and you have a well-defined region trying to break out of the region, it's just pretty simple to take this trade above here. If we do dip back into the region, you can consider picking a little bit more up, like at this level, 53.1 or 53, just because you have such a well-defined stop. But you really don't want to see this come back into this level, especially when you have such a strong convicted candle that closing right on its high, opening right at the low, not allowing any more dump action to occur. So 2 completed legs down, and you know we're just going now. So this is pretty high probability setup. I would say this is like an A plus, an A or an A plus setup. This is one of those that you just kind of have to take, and a lot of times I don't. A lot of times you don't take it because the when you get something so strong like this, your stop is usually going to be pretty wide. In this case, it's just under 1%. And like I said, when you have a really high probability setup like this, it doesn't matter how your stop can be like 5% because it's almost never ever going to hit. So you really have to try and take this as frequently as you can. So I'm pretty pleased that I was able to take this setup. The next one is right here. Yes, at 22.54. Oh, by the way, this was also our biggest trade because I need to start saying the size, yo. Because it ends up being one of our highest probability trades. This one is actually 1.5 size. So I think this is the biggest trade we took. Yeah, this is the largest size trade we took. In fact, we only took 2 trades of 1x size or better. Most of the trades are half or you know, like 3/4 kind of size. So this is one of the only big size trades that we took. So this is 7.5x leverage, I believe. So yeah, a little bit higher lever, but it makes sense because it's such a high probability long here. Okay, so next one is we had this leg in, we put this leg in, two potential legs, get a nice strong rejection here, but that also gets swallowed up, and again, more grinding, but very strong. So again, I decided to take a long up here with a stop just underneath this bar, 548, and this size is a 3/4 size, 3/4 lot size. Excuse me. I enter above this candle just because, excuse me, or is it on this candle? Yeah, I enter on this candle at the high at 55 exactly, just because it's looking very strong and convicted. And then we break above on this candle and then immediately reject downward. Like I said, my stop is supposed to be here at 554.8, but like I said, I don't have any hard stops in, so this is my job to manually stop myself out here. We are now down, by the end of this, we're down 1% on this, and it goes even further down to almost 2% on this. Now what ends up happening, I do remember this, we're down here and I'm like, shoot, what do I do? Because I don't have any take profit orders in. And I was like, I would like to kind of get out, potentially break even if I can. Let's maybe we can put in orders at 55, but I was like, but we've already dumped so hard, we're probably not going to get back up to 55. Maybe I should put my stop, maybe I should put in my take profit orders right here at 54.8 where my original stop was going to be. And as I'm having this think in my mind, I see this wick occur, and it's a spike. It's a huge spike up, and then like we're still down here. It was just a quick buy spike, and then we were back down here, and that's when I was like, oh shoot. That was one of the times where I was really like, okay, you need to be very, very, very deliberate about always putting in your take profits as soon as you can. So I end up putting in my take profits here really quickly because we end up going all the way up to 55.2. I put it in for like 55.05, and we end up actually getting it to go through here. It even pushed higher, so we could have potentially taken more profit. But you know, I think I've mentioned this in a couple videos, and I do say this from time to time. But like, if you're looking at the grand scheme of this, we got 10 trades on this chart in this evening. Don't get married to any given trade. The setup wasn't great. The setup was, I wouldn't even say the setup was good. I would say the setup was like, at best, kind of decent, because when you have this kind of like slow grind here, like this was the only really convicted bar. Really, the best entry would have been here on this bar, because we have this reversal, strong reversal, inside bar with decent conviction, and then we break out above that inside bar. This would be a good entry, and then we get this beautiful push up, and then maybe you hope for higher prices. But and this level actually doesn't. It actually does take out the stop on the other side of this. If this is where you put your stop, but realistically your stop should probably be down here if you're taking this inside bar trade. But yeah, we didn't take this trade. And this happens a lot where like I see this trade and I'm like, oh yeah, this is going to be a good trade. I don't know if that happened. I don't know if this is what happened during this time, but a lot of times I'll see this and be like, yeah, I should take this, but then I don't, because maybe something like this just happened, and then I see it continue marching, and then by the time it's up here, I'm like, shoot, I missed out. I should have profited from this. Let me just enter here because we're above this level, we're holding this level, and we're probably going to pump higher. So let me just take some sort of profit. And then when we get this rejection, it's like, okay, I should have seen this coming. Let's just get out as break even as we can. So this is a break even trade. I count it as a loss, just because that's just how we should do. I feel like you're always paying fees, and even if you get like here, we end up getting almost 0.1%, which is just about the fees that I'm paying on FTX. It's like 0.075% for a taker order and 0.025% for a maker order. So put all that together, it becomes 0.1% if you do one maker and one taker. If you do both market orders, then it's 0.15. So you're always, paying some sort of fees. So in this case, I think we probably basically broke exactly even, but I consider that, I put that in as a loss. So this is the second loss of the day. I think a decent job of holding through to reclaim this break even. That was probably the only good thing about this trade, was that I didn't stop myself out down this low. When you get this bar closing as a green bar, I think it's safe you can just put the stop. You can move the stop to below this bar, and if we break below this bar, then whatever. That's life. But we actually get pretty fortunate that it just crashes upward. So yes, that is that trade. Next trade is 23.17. Yep. Is this back-to-back losses? I believe so. I mean, that was, whatever, break even. But yeah, we end up taking a long here. Why do we take this long? Let's see. So we now have this something like this. Break this trend line, push down, one leg down, second leg down, really strong reversal bar here. Decent follow through. I think after this decent follow through, like this is the type of situation where you can take a long up here above this bar with a stop just below it, because it's again that inside bar. Like I said, inside bars are really great ways to take trades on these little junk coins, because you get a few inside bars here, and inside bars are great setups in trends, and they also can be great setups for fades in trading ranges. In this case, it ends up being a decent setup for a fade in the trading range. It pushes down here. I'm just thinking, we have a decent we have a decent opportunity now if this low is going to hold. we're at a decent level to kind of take a long here. So I decided to chuck along. This ends up being 1/4 size. I think this is the smallest trade. Oh, this is tied for the smallest trade, excuse me, that I took during the session. Yeah, because not super confident about this, especially after this super strong bar. This is kind of like we'll chuck the money, and possibly if this level is going to hold, we're very likely to just punch back up during this very same candle. And if we don't do that, and we put in this small inside bar, and we don't punch up during the next candle, then you can just safely cut as soon as we break below this low. So that ends up being exactly what I do. We take the stop loss here at 53 or 54,325, just underneath this, and yeah, we move on to the next one. Not a great trade. This is not a great trade, but I do understand it does kind of make some sense, like why you take this trade. This is really the problem, though, is that kind of at the top of a channel, so it makes sense to not take this trade because we're at the top of the channel. Maybe if you break out, and then we can continue to go long. But yeah, we get a really strong rejection here at the bottom of the channel, and then we kind of say, we have a bit of a sideways trading range. We're at the bottom of a sideways trading range. Let's just take the long real quick. It makes kind of sense. But yeah, we put it on very low lever, just because that seems to make the most sense. So this is a good decision making in terms of putting really small size. It's possible, I really don't remember what happened during this trade, but it's possible that I decided to put a small size on, and then if we started to see some strength, I could add a little bit more size. But we never end up seeing that strength, and we just blast through the floor. So that is that trade. That is trade 5. Next is trade 6 at 23.50. Yep, okay, right here. So we now have really strong push, break down to here, break this trend line. Let's do this now. We break this trend line, nice strength, reject back down, put in a double bottom, and then push up here, put in a higher low, and again, we're gonna keep seeing this all day long. We're gonna keep seeing this. By the way, we have a little bit of a channel here, a little bit of a bull flag. We put in a really nice inside bar candle here with strong close. We break above that on the next one, and this is just looking like a textbook long setup. I mean, right? You just have to long above this 54.050. So this time we end up longing 54.150, which is a little bit higher than we probably would have wanted to, but that's kind of the nature of the beast when you're playing these junk coins. If you wait, and you do kind of have to wait for us to break above. Sometimes you break straight from 54.050 straight to 54.150, and you can take the trade. I'm sure I missed a lot of trades throughout this session of just wanting to get a better price, like if it breaks up a little bit too far that I feel uncomfortable, I don't want to take the trade, and I miss out on the trade. That's okay, that's life, that's how it goes. This time we put 1x size, and this is a great decision because this is probably the best trade of the day that we take, and as you can see, like we could have held this way longer, way farther than we did. That's probably what we should have done, especially because where we end up closing, which is right here, it doesn't look like a bad candle. This is a decent follow through candle. From here, we get a little bit of a rejection, but it doesn't ever break the low. We break above again, and then we should be going here. Yeah, we're going here again. So this would have been a great place to take partial profits and then let the remaining position ride on the stop, but we didn't do that. It's kind of hard to say that you should always do that because I think in a lot of the trades that we've taken here, that will end up resulting in the remainder of your trade getting stopped out. But when you have something like this that just keeps going and going and going for like another 10+% kind of thing, like from our entry here, we get up to 13%. It's possible that letting that ride is going to cover the losses that it's not technically a loss, but it comes back to your break-even stop or your regular stop, which at that point you should be in profit if you've taken half of your position off the table usually. So maybe you end up making that back. I'm sure you do end up making that back multiple times over, but yeah, that's just not the way that we traded this session. But yeah, this is a great trade. Definitely one that we should be holding longer just by evaluating the price action. But like I said, for the most part, I'm just putting in my my take profit levels like immediately. So here, I think I end up closing at let's see, we close half of it at 54,875, which is right here. Probably we picked the level just to be just underneath this level in case we were going to get a stop at that level. It doesn't make the most sense, but like sometimes it's just how you pick. You just pick a take profit level based on what are some levels that have been somewhat respected in the past. And you know, we kind of had this high here and then this high here, so whatever. And then the remainder of it, we take profit. The second half, excuse me, is at 55.2. So right here, right on this level. So yeah, about average, about a little above 55. So this is a great trade, about 2R, and of course we could have held a lot longer, but we didn't. That's fine. Made a great profit. And again, this is probably our best setup of the. This is probably the best setup of the day. Um, so I'm really pleased that the two best setups of the day that we had are the two trades that we took the biggest size on. This one was 1x size, the other one was 1.5x size. But yeah, really great decision making in terms of sizing and identifying the trade, that it's going to be a great trade. And of course, yeah, stop is just going to be under, um, probably under here. Yeah, you could do like under here or under here because they kind of have the same level, but sometimes you get the situation where you have like a nice looking thing, and then what ends up happening is on this bar that goes up, it will go outside up and take this low out first and then go. So I like to put my stop, I like to give it a little more breathing room, put the stop underneath here. Okay, so the next one is after midnight now. This is right before 1 a.m. Yes, right here. Okay. And 1 a.m. is the 4-hour close. I'm not a big fan of holding trades through major closes. So 4-hour close, daily close. I kind of try, like if I can be out of those trades by then, I'll try to. So just because, you know, the aggressiveness just kind of, it can be annoying. Like this, for example, right at the end, we'll have like a violent candle, and then right to open the hour, we'll have a violent candle. And sometimes, you know, these violent candles can be fake outs, and I don't need to be a part of them. So usually I'll try and cut out if it makes sense and if I'm able to. Yeah, we're already closing in on 30 minutes here, and we still have a few more trades to go through, so it's okay. We'll be quick here. So this one is we enter long at 60.5. Why did we do that? We have nice strong push up here. We have 3 push pattern down, right, in this channel. More of a wedge, right, as we can see, but 3 pushes down within this wedge. Really strong buying through here and good follow through here. I don't know if I was looking at this chart at this time or not. Maybe I just saw this retroactively and I was like, yeah, this is going to be a good setup. I'm not really sure why I took this setup. As you can see, it's kind of late at night. I think the fatigue is a little bit starting to settle in. And again, we're doing it right at the 4-hour close. So I think this is a really strong bar. So we just buy above this bar, and then the stop loss is probably right below this bar, and we're kind of expecting to at least get up to this level of the prior swing high. It ends up busting down through this level, not all the way to the stop, but just enough to, you know, spook us out that, you know, maybe we can have like kind of a double top and here, and we won't continue pushing higher. So I put in my take profit here at like the 608 level, and we end up closing for just a little bit, like just 0.5%. So not a great trade, but still technically it counts as a win, I guess. So we'll take that. And this was also 1/4 size. I think the quarter size reflects the risk that you're taking on by one having a really big stop loss. This bar is 1.5% almost, and the fact that we're near the top of our prior swing high, and, you know, possibility of getting rejected. Of course, we continue higher, but we don't get to participate in that because we just get out here. Kind of got spooked by this. Kind of got spooked by the 4-hour close, which I don't remember. I'm gonna guess, like, based on where's 9 p.m. I mean, like, clearly we had a really strong 4-hour close, right? But it's possible that we might, you know, push downward before we continue to push upward. So it just makes sense to be out. So we get out like right at 1 o'clock as the new 4-hour opens. Excuse me. Next one is here at 154, about an hour later. Um, two legs down, makes one leg, little ABC here, and then another second leg, strong leg down. And then we're kind of having this, it kind of looks potentially like a bear flag, but out of these 10 bars, like 8 of them are green bullish bars. So kind of makes sense that there is some bullish strength here. We got a great push up here. It got rejected, and it got rejected down here, but again, it doesn't break the low of the level, and then we get a really, really nice strong buyback here. So this is one of those setups where you have strong, and it continues to go, and you want to get in like right around here. So that's exactly kind of what we did. We had a great entry on this candle, filled it with a limit order at exactly 602, the exact low. We have a great push up here. Probably our stop, you can probably put the stop underneath here, underneath this bar. But given the way that we have this strong push up here, and like I don't want to have the case where we're like this, where you break below the level and then continue up higher, but it's still higher than the previous higher low. So makes more sense to me to put it under this level, which is kind of also a double bottom here. And yeah, end up getting a great entry, great follow through. Like this is the candle where you know you're going to make money now. And here we end up doing 1/3 of our profit we take at 61 right here. And then the remaining 2/3 we take really high at 61,575, I believe, on this candle. So kind of average around here, 612-ish. This is a really great patience to get this one, to get this fill much higher. It's like almost a full % higher than our first take profit. And yeah, overall about 2.25 R. Another good one. I'm not really sure if I would consider this to be like an A setup, because I guess because I'm not really too practiced at this kind of like trading range-ish, kind of like this looks like a flag, and like this looks like it could possibly just be the second push of the flag, and it ends up actually being the second push of the flag. We actually end up getting almost the highest exit. I mean, not quite the highest exit, but we exit on the candle that makes the high of this level. So I don't know, not necessarily the best setup, but it ends up working out pretty well here. And I don't know if I mentioned the size level with this. This is a half size position. The last one was a quarter size. Yeah, we talked about this. This is a quarter size position. This is a half size position. Good profit taking on this one here, and we book a nice win. I don't remember if I got spooked by the fact that we had the absolute high. I mean, I know it feels good, right, when you take profit at the absolute high, but it also kind of reflects a little bit on the decision making. Like, should I have taken this trade? We are getting fatigued. It is 2 a.m. And then, yeah, we get another trade here. This is the penultimate trade, or yes, our penultimate trade of the night. This one we take 3/4 size on, and this trade is pretty simple here. Like, again, we pushed to the low, but now we're making a sideways trading range that we've really been respecting for a long time. We get this strong push up, and then it gets rejected back down. Exactly what we were talking about here. Another strong push up. Is this actually the candle that we get enter on? Yes, 221. So this one comes back down. We expect that this level will hold. So I take the long here at 59,150, which is really close to the low here, basically at the low. We get a great follow through here. I'm feeling pretty good. This rejects, this rejects, this rejects. It actually breaks through the low. I think my stop loss probably is going to be underneath this candle, 58,850. So 2 ticks below that would be 58,800. This one goes to 58,825. So yeah, one more tick and we probably would have stopped it. We get a pretty nice close here, and then more follow through, and then we just take our profit here at 229 at 59.7. I think because we get this nice strong push through here, but then we get this kind of inside bar with, it is great follow through, but we're getting close to the top of that range, and depending on how you define the range, like if you define this range as just this, and this is a deviation, then we're already at the top of the range. If you define it as all the way up here, then we could potentially hold it throughout to this level. You could re-enter long here at 59.8 after this, because this is an outside bar, right? Yes, this is an outside. Yeah, this is a completely outside bar, outside up bar. So you can just take the long above this, but yeah, not too much of a ways to go, because you probably need to try and take profit at like, I mean, our wick is right here, so really you got to take your profit pretty soon. Maybe you can try and get it above the wick or like into the wick a little bit, but yeah, this is just a decent level to take profit at. I'm not the best at trading range trades, so I'm pretty pleased that I was able to get this one. I think this one makes a little bit of sense. It doesn't make so much sense from a setup standpoint because we don't really have a good setup. We don't really have a nice, like a small bar like this that we can buy above. This is kind of just one where we're just fading momentum, expecting that that momentum is very unlikely to continue through this low and to take us out. And if it doesn't, it does. It is what it is. I think if we don't end up getting this push through, it's possible that we have to move the stop to being underneath this bar. Just because it's somewhat reasonable for this level to get taken out and then to continue pushing up higher. The only reason I'm not the biggest fan of that is because we're getting lower lows, lower lows. So if we put in yet another lower low, I'm not going to really be wanting to get long. Like we have this low here and we kind of have a higher low, but then lower low here, and then try lower high here, lower low here. We do have the higher high here, but if that higher high produces a lower low, I'm not a big fan of taking the trade. So yeah, so that's that one. This is also 3/4 size. And then the final trade of the day, a few hours later here at 3:26. This was the longest trade of the day as well, 14-minute long trade. This one ends up being half size. Like I said, pretty sleepy, pretty fatigued. Just taking trades because I just am addicted to taking trades, I guess, at this point. And just keep getting those scalp reps. But yeah, this looks like we take another push down. We finally get some good strength that could possibly be reversal strength. Like this is a pretty clear range kind of channel here, and we break above that channel, try and put in another follow through here, and we get a good follow through all the way up to here, back into the 6 cents, not 6 cents, 0.06 cents, whatever. And strong rejection here, strong rejection, but we're kind of back into this region of where there were buys. I think possibly on a higher time frame there was like a buy signal in this area, so I felt like, okay, maybe it's a decent area to take a long. We kind of have this sideways trading here action that tries to put in a continuance to the downside, and it gets swallowed up immediately. So then I'm feeling like, yeah, this is a reasonable place to take a trade with a stop right underneath here. So I enter at 59.425, half of the size, ultimate size. I end up doing a half size completely. So this is 1/4 size. I enter at 59.425 on this candle here. On 326 candle here. No good follow through. It pushes down, and then it pushes down even further. I seem to be reasonably convicted with this trade, so I take the other quarter at 59.100. I don't remember if it was on this candle or on this candle. I guess not on this candle. I guess it's on this candle. And then yeah, probably have to move the stop to a push underneath this level. So we move the stop there. We end up getting a beautiful buyback, and then great follow through to the upside. And we end up taking our profit right here at 601.000. We had this is one that I took like a bunch of little teeny little profits, like 1/10 of a profit, 1/10 of a profit, and I think we got our first ones were kind of like right here, just below 6, and our highest ones were like at 603 or 604, but I think it averages out to just right around 601. So yeah, this ends up being a decent trade as well. This is a good practice for loading multiple buys. A lot of times I will just buy once, and that's my position. This time I bought 2 different lots, and usually like when I buy this one right here, it makes me feel like now I really have to stop myself out underneath this when in fact I shouldn't be stopping myself out. I should be adding down here. And then if this level gives, then you can consider, cutting it. That's something I really need to work on. It's not one of my strong suits. I usually kind of pick a spot, and then if it continues to blow through my level, I cut the position. I don't think that's very good. I think it's very bad, in fact. But yeah, this was the session, and I go to sleep somewhere around here. I don't know. But I just decided to be done. But that's 10 full trades. So our stats on this were we had 7 wins, 3 losses. One of those losses was a break-even trade. So, some people might not, you might consider that 7, 2, and 1 kind of thing. But yeah, pretty decent, 7 wins. Like I said, only 2 of those 10 trades were 1x size or more. 4 trades were half size. So that means 2.5x leverage. So majority of the trades were under 3x leverage, with just a couple, one at 5x leverage and then one at 7.5x leverage. Usually I'm pretty comfortable to trade 3 to 5 x leverage. That's kind of my bread and butter when I'm trading like Bitcoin and things like that. But yeah, in this case, I mean, when it comes to junk coins, I size down heavily anyway. And then, especially on a little scalping account, yeah, this is kind of an easy way to do it. So that's something to consider. If you can get the 70% win rate, then you can make a decent. You can get some decent money just using low leverage, 3x leverage, 5x leverage. You don't have to do the 20x, 100x leverage where you're risking a lot, especially on a coin like this where you regularly see 1 minute candles of 1% or more kind of thing. So just be careful, I guess. 7 of these 10 trades completed in under 5 minutes. I want to even say under 3 minutes. My longest time in trade was this final trade, 14 minutes. I think other than that, my longest time in trade was 8 minutes, it looks like. Yes. The very first trade was an 8-minute trade. And then, the trade right before this, the 9th trade, was also an 8-minute trade. And yeah, the total account growth, crazy enough, 20 to 25%. Despite having a couple losses. We kept the losses pretty small. We kept our winners pretty decent. We had decent Rs on most of the trades. Like I said, there were a couple of trades that we kind of just kind of got into the trade just for the sake of getting into the trade. Those are trades we probably shouldn't be taking. In this case, I think we won a couple of them. I think we probably lost 1 or 2 and we won 1 or 2, so it ends up evening out. But there's just no need to take those trades. It doesn't make as much sense to take those trades if you're not able to have your clear definitions. At the very least, you should be able to define your stop loss. You can take profit wherever. You just get some money, But as long as you have a clearly defined stop loss and the potential to make a profit that is greater than what the stop loss would take out of your account, I think it makes sense to take those trades on these 1 minute time frames when you don't really have a whole lot of time to think and make decisions. And especially on something as illiquid as this spell token, like sometimes you only get like a microsecond of an opportunity to secure a certain price. So you really have to make quick decisions. Some of these trades maybe not the best ones to take, but some of them are pretty good. Like I said, we had a couple A/AAA setups, and I think in those setups, it's a really good idea to make sure you get your good size going, and if you can hold for longer, you can hold for longer. That's something I need to work on, but I'm pretty pleased that at the very least I got good sizing on here. Now, of course, if you were to just take one of my early trades and just hold it throughout the day, you're probably going to make more money than I made scalping. So if you can find those trends, then that's great. But like I said, this was more so to practice my scalping. It's good to get that. It's good to get those reps in, and as nice as it is to just click and walk away for the rest of the day, and you come back and you made $1,000 or something like that, grinding for it feels good too. So yeah, thanks for watching. I am only half apologetic that this is a 45-minute video. It was a really long video. If you watch it, cool. I hope you learned something. I hope there's something you took away from it. Please give me your thoughts, your comments. Maybe you have thoughts on my trade setups. Like I said, I didn't really review this before because I would have taken me another 45 minutes of preparation before this video. I already spent like 30 minutes setting up all of the stuff. So I figured we'll just kind of do a quick go through of each of the setups and kind of just talk through the setups a little bit. Obviously, when I'm live trading these, I'm probably going into a lot more detail and thinking with a lot more time and planning, probably at least 5 or 6 or 7 minutes before the candle that I enter. I'm doing pretty aggressive TA on all of that and making sure that everything's going to be looking good. So probably a lot more thought that goes into this than just what I've said here, like, oh, this is the setup, but we have a, you know, trading range setup, blah, blah, blah. Like, obviously, those are the things that are going through my mind, but I'm going to be a little bit more aggressive about it and a little more detailed when I'm doing the actual trade. So we just hit the 45-minute mark. So yeah, thank you for watching again. 10 trades, 7 wins, 2 losses, 1 break even, 20 to 25% account growth. I think that's pretty good. I think this is a pretty good scalping session. Scalping is not my strength necessarily, but I'm glad I read this this chart pretty well. All right, thanks for watching.